What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We've got another really strong World Cup slate here, and this is the kind of episode where the matchups actually give us a few good angles if we slow down and read the games properly. There are a couple of teams under pressure, a couple of teams already playing with confidence, and a couple of games where the market may not fully reflect how the match is likely to be played. So let's get straight into it. First up, the Netherlands against Sweden. This is the one I'm most interested in on the whole slate. Game of the day for me, no doubt about that. Sweden came flying out of the first game, looked sharp, looked confident, and showed they're not here just to make up the numbers. The Netherlands, on the other hand, are feeling a lot more pressure now, and that changes the whole shape of this game. That's the key for me. When one side comes in with momentum and the other side knows they need to respond, it usually creates a game where both teams can find moments. The Netherlands are good enough to score, but they've also shown some defensive gaps, and Sweden have enough attacking quality to punish that. What I also like here is the idea that Sweden can play a little more freely. They already have a positive result in the bag, so they don't need to force the issue. That can actually make them more dangerous, because they can pick their moments and wait for the Netherlands to open up. The longer this game stays level, the more the Netherlands will have to push. And once that happens, Sweden's attacking players can start finding space. That's where I think the value is. So for this one, my best pick is both teams to score. If I had to call a score, I'd go 2-2. That feels like the type of game where neither side fully gets control. Next up, Germany and Ivory Coast. Germany were outstanding in their last game. They played with real confidence, moved the ball quickly, and looked completely in control from start to finish. When a team produces that kind of performance, it's natural that people want to back them again straight away, and I get that. But this is a different challenge, and I do think Ivory Coast can make it a little more uncomfortable. Ivory Coast are not a side I'd expect to just sit back and get overwhelmed without a fight. They've got structure, they know how to stay organized, and they're good enough to slow the game down at times and make Germany work for everything. That said, Germany still look like the stronger side to me. They've got more quality in the final third, more balance across the pitch, and more ways to break a team down if they get into their rhythm. The big question is whether Germany can carry that same sharpness into this match. If they do, then they should control it. If they start quickly, move the ball cleanly, and force Ivory Coast to defend for long periods, then this game could open up in Germany's favor very early. Ivory Coast's best chance is probably to keep things tight for as long as possible and try to frustrate them, but I still think Germany's quality eventually tells. Another thing I like here is Germany scoring more than once. They look dangerous every time they move forward in the last game, and once they get one goal, they usually have the ability to go on and add another. If Ivory Coast have to chase the game at any point, that can also create more space for Germany to attack into, which only strengthens the case for a higher scoring result. So for this one, my best pick is Germany to win. I also like the over. My scoreline prediction is 3-0 Germany. Now to Ecuador and Curaçao. This one has a completely different feel from the bigger name matchups because Ecuador are built on control, discipline, and structure. They're not always the flashiest team going forward, but they're one of those sides that can make life miserable for an opponent by staying compact, staying organized, and not giving away much at all. That matters a lot in tournament football, because once a team gets comfortable defending well, they can force the other side into a really frustrating type of game. Ecuador don't need 20 chances to hurt you. They just need to stay patient, keep their shape, and wait for the right moments to strike. That's exactly the sort of profile that often works well in these group stage games. Curaçao, on the other hand, are in a tough spot after a rough first game. They know they need a response, but this is not the kind of opponent you want to face when you're trying to rediscover your footing. Ecuador can keep the game slow, limit space in behind, and force Curaçao to keep working for every touch in the final third. If Curaçao spend too much time chasing the ball, that usually becomes a long night. That's why the under makes a lot of sense to me here. I don't see this as a game where both sides are likely to go all out from the start. Ecuador should be comfortable enough to control the flow, and once they get in front, they can manage the game rather than try to run up a huge score. This has the feel of a match where Ecuador do enough, stay professional, and keep things fairly tidy. I also like the idea of Ecuador scoring in the second half. That fits the game script really well. If they dominate territory and keep Curaçao pinned back, the opening should come later rather than immediately. It's the kind of spot where patience can pay off, and Ecuador don't need to force the issue early if they're already dictating the match. So for this one, my best pick is Ecuador to win. I also like the under goals. My scoreline prediction is 2-0 Ecuador. Last game, Tunisia against Japan. This is a really important match because Tunisia are already feeling the pressure after their opening result, and that usually changes the mindset quite a bit. A new manager coming in can bring a different energy, but it can also mean there's still some uncertainty about the setup, the shape, and how quickly the team is going to settle into the new plan. In a game like this, that kind of uncertainty can be a problem. Japan, by contrast, are one of those teams that always look well prepared. They're disciplined, they're organized, and they usually know exactly what they want to do from the first whistle. That makes them a very tough opponent in tournament football, especially when the other side is already under pressure and trying not to make things worse. What stands out to me here is that Japan are much more likely to control the pace of the game. Tunisia may try to keep it tight early and avoid giving Japan too much space, but if Japan keep the ball well and stay patient, I think they'll eventually start finding openings. They don't always need to force things quickly, they're comfortable waiting for the right moment, and that can be a huge advantage in a game like this. I also like the idea of second half goals here. Japan have the structure and discipline to wear teams down over time, and if Tunisia start to chase the game, that only opens things up more later on. That's usually when Japan can take advantage, especially if they've already spent a long stretch controlling possession and territory. So for this one, my best pick is Japan to win. I also like Japan to score more than once. My scoreline prediction is 2-1 Japan. So to wrap it up, here's how I'm looking at today's World Cup slate. Netherlands versus Sweden, both teams to score. Both teams have enough quality going forward to create chances, and I think this one has the kind of open, back and forth feel where each side can find a goal. Netherlands to score. Even with the pressure they're under, I still expect the Dutch to get on the board at least once. Germany to win. They looked a more complete team in their last game, and I think they've got the quality to back that up again here. Germany over goals. If they start fast and find their rhythm early, they can put a couple past Ivory Coast. Ecuador to win. Their structure and discipline give them a real edge in a game like this. Ecuador under goals. I don't expect them to turn it into a wild shootout, this feels more controlled. Japan to win. They're organized, efficient, and well set up to handle the pressured Tunisia side. Japan to score more than once. I like them to keep pushing and create enough to get at least two. That's the board for today. A couple of strong side plays, one game I really like for both teams to score, and a few totals that fit the way I think these matches will actually play out. Stay selective, trust the matchups, and let the games tell the story once they kick off. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It helps the channel a lot, and it lets me keep bringing you these daily picks and breakdowns. And I'll catch you in the next one.